Can I get a little dab? My nose is a little.
Makeup crew.
We're going to do a director. First time we've ever done that.
We have.
And before we get started, we did a 1 year anniversary special. Yes. Obviously, you're part of this channel. Is there anything you wanted to add to that 1 year?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'd like to thank you and Joe for letting me be a part of the channel. Obviously, at first, I was a huge fan. Obviously, I'm going to support the channel. I was commenting. I was the #1 fan.
Yes.
And, you guys asked me to come on, help out with some videos. And I want to thank you guys most of all for letting me be a part. And just anybody that watches the videos, anybody that comments, anything. Just thank you for doing that.
And keep it coming.
Keep it coming.
But yeah, we're going to do a director. Just want to take time to do that.
Yeah.
Todd Phillips.
Todd Phillips.
Comedian, director. Obviously, if you don't know him, we're going to get into it right now.
Yes.
And I got my cheat sheet here.
Nice.
It's a phone. But anyway, he started out with a few documentaries. One was called Frat House, basically when you joined a frat party, especially in the 90s, because this came out in 98.
Wow.
It's probably crazy.
Probably is.
I need to check that out, honestly.
I've seen some documentaries, so I would watch that. Check it out.
And then he did Bittersweet Motel, which is about a British band, I think. That one really doesn't appeal to me, but it's Todd Phillips, so hey, let's dive right into it, man. First theatrical release, Road Trip.
Dude, Road Trip. I think we saw this in the theater. I know I definitely saw it.
I was a little young. It was 2000, so I know I didn't.
But we were watching movies at the time in the theater in 2000. I'm pretty sure we saw this, but maybe not. Either way, we've seen the movie, and it's
told me. I know you told me to watch it. I'll say that.
Yeah, because I'm a huge comedy guy. Obviously, you know that. Anybody that doesn't know knows it now. Comedies are my thing. This movie's a comedy. It's hilarious.
Oh, I loved it. Tom Green.
Tom Green, man. He used to have his own show on MTV.
Yeah,
and it was great. Just a little thing I did.
What is the guy's name? He was in Clueless. He's like the main guy, the one that his tape. He's trying to go get the tape. I forget his name.
In Clueless?
Yeah, he was in Clueless. He was the skateboarder guy with the long hair.
Oh, Breckenmeyer.
Yes, that's it. I'll call you Joe from now on.
No, don't call me Joe. Joe's a master at names. I just know.
See, this movie I loved.
Yeah.
And then when we get into the next one here in a sec, I love that one too. It wasn't till Joe that he started connecting me with directors and stuff like that. Like the only director I knew was like Steven Spielberg.
Right.
I mean, so I didn't know who directed this. I know I loved it. And you got Sean William Scott, which I saw him in the first American Pie, so I knew he was going to be funny. I loved it. It could have been, they were going on a road trip before they went to college. Yeah. And I think it would have been funny. Obviously, you put what happened, especially in the 90s where videoing and all that, and I'm sure there was a lot of that going on, and you guys didn't mail it. And you don't want that person to see what's on it, so you got to get down there and get it.
I mean, it appealed to me obviously because it was our time. Like I always say, it was our time. We were growing up. We were teens at the time. We were in high school, so it was that high school movie. It was a high school comedy for our generation. It was funny. It was rude. It was lewd. It was all that stuff. Great.
And then the other two guys, he's the short, skinny one who's kind of classified as the nerd.
DJ Qualls, which I'm going to say I don't really care for his comedy. He did some other movies that I don't care for.
I liked him in this.
He had his moments in this. I'll give you that. But he wasn't the main.
No.
Thankfully, it wasn't the main focus because he's done other movies that were his focus and I didn't like him.
I liked him in this. Other than that, I wasn't a fan.
Yeah.
And then the other guy who liked smoking weed all the time.
Oh, that one I don't know his name. But he was funny. I liked him better than DJ. I don't even know why I know DJ Qualls. I don't even know why I know that name.
Like, we're going to get a tow truck. It's just the wheels.
And it blows up.
But yeah, if you haven't seen Road Trip, check it out.
And, fun fact, Todd Phillips makes an appearance in the movie.
He does, which he does that a lot.
He does.
Which you will see later.
Yes.
All right, so we go from that. 3 years later, he does Old School.
Old School. You know how we feel about Old School.
One of my favorite, it's definitely a top 3 Todd Phillips for me.
Yeah, hands down.
Love Old School. I saw this in the theater.
Yes.
With a buddy of mine. It was his brother. and just loved it immediately. You got Vince Vaughn, you got Will Ferrell, Luke Wilson. It's just great. It's just freaking hilarious.
Like I said, comedy, man. Comedy, he knows how to do comedy, and it's funny. My comedy.
Oh, man. Yeah. Just great. I mean, and then you got some like Easter eggs in there. I forget her name. She was in King of Queens as Kevin James' wife.
Leah Remini.
Yeah, that's it. I can never say her last name right. That's
I think it's Remini.
I don't want to say it because I always butcher it.
Yeah, I probably butchered it, but I don't care.
But yeah, she plays Vince Vaughn's wife. Artie Lang is in it.
Yes.
The guy, he's the doctor in the Hangover movie. He's in it. He
wants to join I don't know his name.
He wants to join the fraternity.
He's funny too, man.
Sounds like a good thing. I'm in.
Artie Lang is funny, man. He is funny. He's in one of my favorite comedies, and hopefully we can get to that at some point.
He's great, yeah.
He's great. I love it.
And if you like Artie Lang, listen to some of the stuff he used to do on the Howard Stern show. He was hilarious.
Yes.
But yeah, so he did Old School. Right, 1 year later, he jumps right back in it. He does Starsky and Hutch remake.
We saw Starsky and Hutch.
We did see that.
It's not maybe his best. It is funny. I mean, obviously, I didn't grow up watching Starsky and Hutch, so I didn't know the source material. I mean, I've seen a couple episodes. You know about the car. It's iconic. I didn't see the show, but the movie was great. I love the movie.
I never watched the show. I knew the show. I knew the actors because they show up at the end of it. And I guess this is hard for some people, because you look at like Old School and Road Trip; those are R-rated comedies.
Yes.
And then you do Starsky and Hutch, and I'm sure there was a lot of pressure to tone it down to a PG level because obviously the studio wants to make money.
Right.
Nothing against that. I'm not against anything. I don't want something rated R just because it's rated R. But it just feels like it was a little toned down.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't like them doing that because there's other movies that have done that. And it just bothers me. Just if I see the rating, I'll give an example. Recently Venom is PG-13. I didn't like that. It ruined the movie for me. I won't watch the second one. Probably not. Anyway.
But no, I still like Starsky and Hutch. Yeah. I think Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson, they worked great together.
Yes.
Vince Vaughn plays the bad guy. Jason Bateman is his kind of right arm man, the bookkeeper, I guess you'd say is. Just some great little Easter eggs in there. I loved it. But it's definitely not high on my list, and I don't remember the last time I watched it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it in a while either, but it's a good movie. I do like it.
The police commissioner.
Yes, and Snoop Dogg plays Huggy.
Yes, that's right.
I mean, Snoop Dogg is cool. But,
yeah, it is what it is.
It's worth a watch at least once.
So he waits 2 years, and he's done something that I'll be honest, I've never seen, and I haven't really wanted to see it. School for
Scoundrels.
Scoundrels.
I've heard of this movie. I think Billy Bob Thornton may be in it.
Let me click on it.
If he's not, then it's a different movie.
You got what's his name who played Napoleon Dynamite? Yeah, Billy Bob Thornton.
Okay, so I think the guy used to be the Napoleon Dynamite kid. I don't know the plot, but I've heard of this movie. I've never seen it either. So
it didn't appeal to me.
Yeah,
it really didn't. And nothing against it's John Hyder, I think it is.
Yeah,
I thought he was funny in Napoleon Dynamite, and I know he's struggled to do something since.
Yeah,
it just didn't resonate with me.
Me either.
Nothing against it. But so we get that, and
moving
then
on.
3 years, then we get to probably one of the iconic start to a series, The Hangover.
The Hangover, man.
I remember seeing this trailer, and this is about the time that I really wanted to get out to Vegas. Like, I just wanted to go experience the town, be a part of it. This movie came out, and I was like, I got to see it because it's going to be in Vegas.
Absolutely.
And not only is it just hilarious, it's an original story.
Yep.
Todd Phillips shows up in it.
Yep.
But yeah, it's great. And then you get guys like, and I've seen him before. Like you see Bradley Cooper, he was in stuff like Wedding Crashers and stuff.
He was coming up, man. He was rising big time.
What is Stu's name? Ed something.
Ed Helms?
Yes. He was in The Office, I think.
He was in The Office. He played Andy in The Office. Yes.
And then Zach Galifianakis, who had his own show with Ted Danson.
Yes.
But you put those three together. Evidently, Todd Phillips wanted like big names like Jonah Hill and stuff like that, and everybody turned it down. So that's why he had to go with these guys.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And if it wasn't for them, it wouldn't have been as good.
I agree. 100%.
But I love it. It was in Vegas. You party a little too hard, and you lose your friend and you got to find him. Just how the story unravels.
It was definitely different. Like it was the first time you watch it and you don't know what's going on.
Man.
That's what's so great about it. Obviously, when you see it again, you know what's happening, but it still holds up.
I think when you see it again, it's
You
like
catch-
you know
you catch
it's
more.
but you
Yeah,
catch more
yeah,
of the
you do.
humor. Like
You
I
do.
love the part. Like it's just one of my favorite scenes when they're having breakfast after they wake up and they don't know what happened. They're having
Right.
breakfast out there by the pool,
Yeah.
Caesar's Palace, which I really would like to do sometime.
Yes.
And it's like check your pockets and. Zach throws all this change on the table. It's like, well, we didn't need all that on the
Right,
table.
right.
Like before, you don't really
Yeah,
think
that's
of that.
true, that's true.
But he throws all that change, and I remember watching it one time, and it just cracked me up. Like, why did he throw all this change on the table?
Nice.
And that's something you notice after about 400 times of watching it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Hangover 1, and my favorite of the series too.
Hands down, that's
But
the best of
yes,
the
that
series.
was great,
Yeah.
and probably my favorite of Todd Phillips up to that point.
Yeah, I agree too.
So he waits a year, which sometimes he takes a break, but this time he jumped right back in it. Does do that. Robert Downey Jr., Zach Galifianakis again.
Yeah, I saw this movie in the theater. I thought it was going to be better. For me, I didn't like it because Robert Downey Jr. is not a comedian. And this was a comedy. Todd Phillips does comedy. Zach Galifianakis holds his own. He's the heart of the movie. Robert Downey, to me, just doesn't add to that comedy. To me, I didn't care for it as much. I know you liked it. I didn't care for it that much. And I think it made the sequel maybe suffer because we had to wait longer for it. You know what I mean?
Well, see, like I like it for the reason you don't like it.
Yeah,
because
see,
Robert Downey
so-
Jr. is not a comedian, but he's playing this straight-laced guy with Zach Galifianakis, who's this crazy, off-the-wall character, and they just run into all these problems. And it almost is kind of like it's The Hangover on a road trip because it's like Zach Galifianakis does this thing. Like he could have given him his wallet or whatever, and he could have
Right.
got out of there, but he held it like almost the whole trip.
Right.
Oh, hey, I've had this the whole time, just like before. Like I laced the Jaeger.
Yeah.
But is it my favorite? Absolutely not.
No,
But there
not
are
at all.
things in it that I do like, and I love. That's what Robert Downey Jr. to me brings to it. He plays straight laced, which is funny in that setting. But that's just me. It's not everybody. It's not for everybody.
Yeah, well, like I mean, when you say that, there's characters in, like you were saying, Stu's character kind of plays Robert Downey in the first one. He plays that straight lace, but it's funnier to me. I don't know why. Just maybe it's just Robert Downey Jr. I don't know, but
Hey, like I
yeah,
said,
but it's a good movie. It's not bad. It's just my weakest for sure. Like I don't hate it. It's just
Gotcha.
the one time watch for me. And I was done.
all right. So, and then he jumps back in a year later, and this series was an every 2 years kind of thing. So in 2011, we get The Hangover Part 2.
Yes, which we was excited for this.
I
man.
was very excited for this.
definitely excited.
I was a little disappointed because to me, it was basically the same story, only it was in Bangkok.
It was, yeah.
I watch it again. I have a little more respect for it. There are things that I think are funny about it.
Right.
But it's just not as good as the first one.
No, not at all. And like I told you, like you changed the setting, which I appreciate they tried to do something different, but the setting just didn't work. I didn't care for Bangkok, Thailand. I didn't care for the story. Like Stu's getting married. I don't care for the wife. I don't care for the little brother. I don't care for any of them. And they're in the movie the whole time. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, the brother's,
yeah, he's part of the, he's part of the problem. Like, yeah.
Doug's space. They were looking for
Right.
Doug, and it's what sucks is that the Doug character in all three movies is not really in it.
Exactly. That makes
The
no sense
first
to me.
one. Spoiler alert, he's on the roof the whole time. They're looking for
Yeah.
him. They can't
Well, he's
find
part
him.
of the
He's
group.
there at the
Like,
beginning. He's there at the end.
He's the group.
Second one, he's there at the beginning.
He's just there,
one phone
like-
call, and then he's there at the end. And then the third one, they kidnap him.
Very disappointed that he wasn't a bigger part when he was in the movies. You know what I mean?
I'm interested in the scenery. I feel for them. Like I just watched this recently. They were all three.
I did too.
The extreme.
Yeah.
Because it just seems extremely hot. Like
Yeah,
I don't
it looks
like being
miserable.
hot. I
Me
know if
neither.
it were me down there, I would be so irritable. Nobody want to be around me.
Yeah, I'd have been done.
I would have been.
I don't care.
There wouldn't be this cool back and forth thing. I would be snapping at people.
Yeah,
Let me just
I
tell you
agree.
that. But again, it's part of the series, so I'll say I liked it.
I don't hate it. It's just definitely the weakest of the series for sure.
So 2 years later, they do another one. They do Hangover 3, and I know how you feel about
Yeah.
it. I know how I feel about it. I'm interested to see whoever watched this what you feel about it.
Right.
I honestly think they could have stopped it too. But to me, one would have even been more iconic if they'd have just done one.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that.
There's no continuity in this one in the third one, especially with Zach Galifianakis' character. He's playing almost like a different character, and it's almost like him and Stu don't like each other at all.
Yeah, it is a weird dynamic.
I mean,
between
one
those
of my
two.
favorite scenes though is where they need to get they want to drug Chow.
Yeah.
And he's going in there and he's all sweaty and fidgeting, and the guy's like, oh, it's just really weird that you want this with syringes. The guy, I need it right now too. And he's like, you know, that's a red
He's
flag.
like, oh boy,
I'm gonna have to call the
Yeah.
the prescribing doctor. Well, you're in luck. I am this.
He's like,
oh
there you
boy,
go.
another red flag. There is funny parts.
Yeah, there
to
is.
it.
There definitely.
And John Goodman plays a bad guy,
Which is
I
cool.
love John
I love
Goodman.
John Goodman.
I will always be a John Goodman fan. I think he is a top-notch A-list actor, in my opinion.
Hands down, I agree.
And you put him in that Hangover series, it's just great. But there was stuff that just didn't add up to me. But they go back to Vegas.
Yes.
They go to Caesars, iconic. I mean, so it's part of the series. I do like it, but I felt like maybe they went to the well one too many times. And nobody has a hangover in this one.
Yeah, that's true.
Until the end credits scene.
I definitely like the third one better than the second one.
I got you.
But probably for those reasons, because they do Vegas. They know what they did in that first one. That's why they go back to Vegas.
Yeah.
You know, like we wanted that in the first place. Why you strayed from that, I have no idea. But, you know, it has its part, I think, in the series.
I think they all have their parts.
Yeah.
They're great as a series.
Yeah.
Should they have done as many as they did? That's for
Probably
somebody
not,
else to
but,
decide.
yeah,
But I mean, as a series, I like them all.
Definitely.
But then we get a 3-year break, and he does War Dogs.
Never seen War Dogs.
I just seen this probably about 6 months ago. It's good. They're what do you call them? They arms dealers. That's
Right,
what it
right,
is. It's Jonah Hill, and I'm going to look real quick because I don't want to mess this
And I
up.
like Jonah Hill, so I should.
Miles
like this.
Teller.
I don't know who that is.
I've seen him in some other stuff.
Oh, wait a minute. I know who that is. He was in, you probably haven't seen this, but it's a movie where he's a drummer.
Yes, I've seen that.
Whiplash. I love that movie.
Whiplash.
So I know who he is.
He
I
did
just haven't seen
that. There's another good movie he did. It's called Bled for This, where he plays it's a true story of a boxer who was on top. Then he gets into a car accident and breaks his neck, but refuses to have his neck fused because if his neck gets fused, he can't box anymore.
Well, yeah.
So he goes to the painful of it naturally healing.
Oh,
it's an amazing movie. But anyway, they play great together. It's got comedy in it. It's got drama. It's got action. It's really a different take for what Todd Phillips has done. Yes, he's got comedy laced in there, and it is funny. But it's got a lot of action. It's got a lot of drama in it too.
Nice.
I really enjoyed it. I need to visit it again. It's been a while, but I saw it. I was immediately like, yeah, this is actually pretty good. So I would recommend you check it out.
I need to check it out. I'm always late to parties. I don't watch that much movies and shows anymore. So it's like maybe I'll get to it.
Gotcha. And then we come to the last film he directed. He's got one coming up, but we won't bring it up because we don't know when it's coming out.
Right.
The last movie he did direct, 2019, The Joker.
Oh man, I hate to admit it. Take my nerd card. I haven't seen this movie. I don't know why. I just haven't seen it. Obviously, this is right up my alley. It's The Joker. It's a whole different reincarnation of the Joker. Like I should be all over this. And I remember seeing the trailers for it. I was like, wait a minute, what's his name? I can't even think of his name.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix? Again, I was the same way with Heath Ledger. I was like, how's he going to be the Joker? But then I saw that teaser. I remember that first teaser too, man. You see him standing there, and then you see that zoom in, and it kind of like plays it over his face. And the Joker mask, the Joker makeup is over it. I was hooked. I still need to watch this. I know you've seen it.
I saw it. Spoiler alert, I saw it in Vegas too.
Dang.
When this thing first came out, I was a little skeptical about it because I'm one of these people that I don't want a movie just to be R just because it's R. And I was kind of afraid what they were going with this. Like, are they taking it in the right direction? So I was kind of against it. Honestly, I was on the fence. And I was kind of leaning towards maybe not watching it. But then I started seeing a couple more of the trailers, and I'm like, there's something here.
It looked gritty, it looked grimy, it looked dirty. It's the way it should have been. You know
this is probably, and I love Heath Ledger as a Joker. I love Jack Nicholson as a Joker.
Yeah.
This is probably the closest tone of the Joker you will ever get. Now, is it cut straight from the source material? No. But from most of what I've read in DC Comics, and I've read a lot of them, it's kind of patchy. You get a different story here and a different story there. So it's not really not that important because, yes, there are things that they could have put in there, but the tone of the film was perfect in my opinion.
Right.
But at the same time, I have to say this too. I don't see him playing like he's not straight from the comic books Joker. It's a guy who almost kind of morphs into this Joker-like character.
Nice.
But still, amazingly shot, amazingly done. Joaquin Phoenix, to me, knocked it out of the park.
Awesome.
And I would love it to be one and done. There's a lot of talk about bringing him back for another one.
I've heard there's a
There's
sequel
talk
in the
about
works.
bringing him in to cross over with Batman. And
That I'm not crazy about.
I don't want them to do it unless
Right.
they keep the tone. If
Right.
they lighten him up to fit into this PG-13 era, it's going to kill it. And it'll kill the first one.
Yeah.
So I would say just be careful of that. But Todd Phillips did a phenomenal job. And again, there's stuff that you laugh at in the film, but this is not a comedy in any sense of the imagination. You walk out of this film not feeling too good.
Nice.
You feel bad for the guy. You're disgusted with the guy. It's not that, oh, that was a great film, that was hilarious. No, you're like, that was intense.
Like that was dark, and that
yeah. But
as it should be. That's what I'm saying. Like, kudos for him for going for that R, getting it, well deserved. Don't stray from that, man. I like that.
But it was great, yeah. The tone of the film was great, and like I said, it was like, and I told, because I saw it with two friends of mine. We were out there in Vegas, and I said, this is as close to a Joker tone film you're ever going to get.
Nice.
And they loved it. We all loved it, and we talked about it the whole time we were there.
Nice.
I've seen it a couple times since then, so I would definitely put that high up on your list when you watch it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get to it. It's on HBO Max. I have HBO Max. I can watch it anytime.
This
haven't
video
seen
is
it.
brought to you by HBO Max.
Sponsored by HBO. Give us
wish.
some money.
Give us something.
Yeah, I don't know why I haven't watched this. Like I said, I'm just not let me go home and watch a movie. I'm not that type of person. I just can't do it. I do other things,
But out of the set, what's your favorite?
Oh man. As much as I love Road Trip and Old School, I think just the Hangover for me. The first Hangover for me was his best, my favorite, hands down.
Hangover is up there. I'm gonna have to. I would have gone with Hangover if you went with Old School.
Yeah.
So I'll take Old School.
I mean, you can take Hangover too.
I
No big
know,
deal.
but they're like right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, they are. They are right there. But for
So
me,
I'll take Old School because I loved it. As soon as it came out, it cracks me up every time.
Yeah.
And
I'd have to say Hangover for one, Old School, Road Trip. Those are my top three right there.
it's a pretty good list. I'd have to throw Joker in there somewhere.
Yeah, only because I haven't seen
was
Joker, but
amazing.
definitely it would probably be in there. I just haven't seen it. I need to see it.
Yeah, there's Todd Phillips. It's the first time we've done a director.
Hey,
So
how did we do? Leave
let us
comments.
know. Please, comments, like,
We read
all that other
every
junk.
comment.
We, like I said in the anniversary thing, we want to do videos where we're reading comments and suggestions. I don't care if you don't like what we said. I will read them. Hey, I respect any opinion out there.
If you want your name to be heard on a video, just leave a comment and we'll say your name in the next video.
There you go.
Just leave something on there.
Please. See you later.